You know who said he intends to nominate his former lawyer, Todd Blanche, to replace Pam Bondi as Attorney General permanently. That's what he said, permanently. But the two of them seem to disagree on the status of the $1.8 billion fund that January 6 rioters would be able to cash in on. Take a look.
We are not moving forward with the fund, period.
Excuse me, Mr. President, just to clarify on what you were asked earlier, is the $1.8 billion DOJ fund dead or is it on hold?
It's, I'd have to ask the lawyers, I don't know. The weaponization fund, as far as I'm concerned, was a beautiful thing. It was something I didn't make it, but I heard that, I thought that was the greatest thing.
You didn't make it. Well, somebody talked to you about it because you seem to have known a lot about it when you talked about it before. So he kind of does, they sound like they're not in sync.
Oh, they're in sync.
Because Todd is saying, oh, no, it's not happening. And he's going, no, ask my lawyer.
They're in sync. They're totally in sync. This is all nonsense. They're
More
just,
BS.
They did that with Project 2025.
Yeah.
You know, like I know nothing about it, and then if you look, it's like it's a cookbook.
All them.
It's a cookbook, essentially. And so just don't believe Trump. I would say. I hate to say that, but he's the one who says things and often says exactly what he's doing. He's not very subtle the way the others are.
No.
When he can figure out to say the same thing twice. But I'm not surprised they get their messaging wrong, but more interesting to me was Todd Blanche on Hannity this week when he made kind of what I saw as a startling admission. Take a look.
Oh.
He was convicted on 34 federal charges. So is it an accurate statement to say he either wins in 24, wins the White House, it's either the White House or the big house?
Yes. I mean, oh, man. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, don't forget, he had a D.C. case breathing down his neck,
Right.
the D.C. case. He had the Florida case, which had been dismissed, but they were appealing it. And then he had a judge in New York who there's no scenario in which he wasn't going to send President Trump to prison. And he didn't after the president won.
Oh my God, he said it out loud.
Well, we've been saying it out loud. It's good to hear somebody else.
So that
I was like, he just
jail.
said that part. Like, he'd be in prison if he weren't president.
That's the whole point.
okay.
Well, he said it out loud. Remember, he said it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
You know who said it? He said, listen, if I don't want to go back to prison, so that's why I need to get these votes out. He said it.
Yeah. I truly believe he ran to be the president of the United States to avoid being put in jail. I really do believe that. And I believe, we have, I think he's a felon. He's a convicted felon. The fact that he didn't serve prison time, in my mind, doesn't erase the fact that he's still a convicted felon. But I will say this about Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche has the legal knowledge required to be the Attorney General. I do believe that. He was a federal prosecutor for about 8 years. He actually was a paralegal at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan and then later went back and went to law school.
So he's actually
night.
hired somebody who actually knows the job.
He actually knows how to do this job.
Okay.
And so what scares me is that he was Trump's personal attorney. So the fact, and Kara and I were talking about this off camera, I don't think Trump wants to let that slush fund go.
No, of course not.
I think he wants that slush
of
fund.
course.
And I think the Attorney General.
But that is not popular.
But the Attorney General saying it's not going to happen, I wonder if
Well, there's a couple things you have to
it's going
Part two is what you were talking
There's
about.
a couple things you do have to think about. One of the things is he was a felon. He did run for this reason. One of the many reasons, besides
No question.
extreme narcissism
and corruption, so he can make some money.
Which is focus on that. That's what I always focus on. But we might have to get used to the fact that this man may never pay for the things he's done. You're just going to have to. And it's going to be very hard for Democrats. It's going to be very hard for people. But there's a point where you need to move on. And I know people hate when I say that, but it's the fact of the matter. That said, you can go through a lot of other people, right? That there's a lot of people down low who aren't protected, which is why, they're all going to want to get pardons.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I had lunch with a Trump person. They have lunch with me all the time. It's very funny. And they said, I'm asking for a pardon. And I said, did you do anything? And they're like, no. Because the Democrats are going to come after me. I said, they're not going to come after you if you didn't do anything. If you did something, absolutely. And it was such a mentality, of like, because we do it, they're going to do it.
The retribution.
Kind of stuff. Yes.
fascinating. And by the way, Todd Blanche will have to go through Senate confirmation. I think he will ultimately get approved. However, I think the slush fund could be a sticking point. There's this big resistance that's starting to emerge with Republicans in the Senate. Cassidy, Tillis, Cornyn, who are not running for re-election, in large part due to Donald Trump, who may ask to, in some way, get in writing a firm commitment that this isn't happening. I would think they would need to do it legislatively, because we all remember Bill Cassidy got the commitment from RFK Jr. that he wasn't going to, unseat these CDC officials, and he reversed on it. But pay attention to this, because I think the Senate is going to try to hold the line on
I'm
it.
going to take the counter. I think it might be a lot tougher for Todd Blanche to get through in a lot of ways. Because you're seeing I just interviewed Tom Tillis, and one of the things when he's suddenly found his voice, and there's another expression you could use. He suddenly reached down and. And so you know what I'm saying. And one of the things that he said, I called him. I was trying to get him going, and I said, well, a lot of people, I think just me, call you too late, Tom. Like, you're too late. And he got very mad. He's like, I'm not too late. I'm like, yeah, you kind of are. You kind of waited and went along, just like Cassidy, just like Cornyn.
He fell in line.
Fell in line. And I was like, and now you're going to do it because you have nothing to lose. And it's that said, very powerful. So I have a feeling too late, Tom is going to be tough talk.
Well, and Grassley and Senator Kennedy have also expressed the fund is a problem. So
Well, remember, there's a second part to this. And that's the one.
IRS.
That's the one I'm not digging at all.
I think federal judges will shut that down.
I hope they will. I hope they shut it down before they shut the fund down.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that never happens.
Yeah.
No one gets immunity.
Yeah.
You may not have to go to jail, but you're not getting immunity.
Yeah.
And you're not getting my
From
money.
taxes.
Yeah, you're not getting.